All right, hello everyone. This is Paul from SpanishWithPaul.com and welcome to our Spanish lesson for this Monday. We're going to focus on how to express to mean. For example, I don't understand what he means. Or asking, what do you mean? Even, I know what you mean. Now we have two ways of expressing this in Spanish. So in the first half of this lesson, I'll give you one way. And then in the second half, I'll show you a little twist that native Spanish speakers will often switch into, specifically when referring to it means. So we're going to draw a little line of separation between he and she means and it means. Now, as always, I'm going to ask you a lot of questions, which I would like you to pause the video and to think out your own answers, because this is the only way that you truly learn. That's all coming up next. If becoming fluent in conversational Spanish is one of your goals for this year, then consider clicking the link above to download my free course books that go along with all of my YouTube lessons. You can also subscribe to my channel to get a brand new Spanish lesson from me every single Monday. So with that out of the way, let's get started. He wants, she wants, and it wants is all the same word in Spanish. The word is quiere. We have two main syllables here. First of all, qui, followed by ere. So the sound is quiere. What's the verb to say or to tell? Decir. So how would you express he wants to say? Quiere decir. The interesting thing is that while quiere decir has a literal meaning of he wants to say, in Spanish, it's really used for expressing he means. Let's try to use it. To express I know in Spanish is sé. What's the word for what? Que. Now, if we want to say I know what he means, we would have sé que quiere decir. I know what he wants to say. Sé que quiere decir. Now, very often, when the word what comes in the middle of a sentence, native Spanish speakers will switch into the sound of lo que, which means that you have a choice. You can stay with que or use lo que. For the purposes of this lesson, I'd like us to practice using the sound of lo que whenever the word what comes in the middle of a sentence. So the translation would then become sé lo que quiere decir. If the word sé means I know, how would you say I don't know? No sé. How would you say I don't know what she means? No sé lo que quiere decir. The verb to understand in Spanish is entender. We have three syllables, entender. And to express I understand, the sound goes to entiendo. Notice that in the full verb, we have just an E, entender. But when you conjugate it, that E gets split into IE, and the sound becomes entiendo. How would you say, I understand what he means? Entiendo lo que quiere decir. What's the word for now? Ahora. How would you say, now I understand what he means? Ahora entiendo lo que quiere decir? How would you say, I don't understand? No entiendo. I don't understand what she means. No entiendo lo que quiere decir. The word for clear in Spanish is claro. And to express it's clear, we have the expression of está claro. You hear this very, very often. Está claro. What's the word for very? Muy. So how would you say it's very clear? Está muy claro. Let's use it. How would you say, now I understand what he means. It's very clear. Ahora entiendo lo que quiere decir. Está muy claro. How would you say it's not very clear? No está muy claro. It's not very clear what she means. No está muy claro lo que quiere decir. It's not very clear what she means. I don't understand. No está muy claro lo que quiere decir. No entiendo. Aside from he means or she means, we can also have you mean. And this is very easy to get. We simply take quiere and we add on an S. So the sound we get is quieres. Now it's the same structure. We have quieres decir. Literally means you want to say, but it's used for you mean. Quieres decir. How would you ask? What do you mean? ¿Qué quieres decir? Notice that here we didn't use lo que, because what was coming at the beginning of the sentence and not in the middle. So again, ¿qué quieres decir? How would you say, I know what you mean? Sé lo que quieres decir. I don't know what you mean. No sé lo que quieres decir. I understand what you mean. Entiendo lo que quieres decir. I don't understand what you mean. No entiendo lo que quieres decir. To express I'm sorry in Spanish is actually a little tricky because there are a lot of different words that you can use to express this, and the right word depends on what the situation is. For the purpose of these following examples, we're going to use lo siento. It carries a literal meaning of I feel it. I feel, lo siento, meaning I feel your pain or I feel what you're going through. Lo siento. What's the word for but? Pero. How would you say, I'm sorry, but? Lo siento, pero. Now let's use it. I'm sorry, but I don't understand what you mean. Lo siento, pero no entiendo lo que quieres decir. We can extend this even further with the word for really. In Spanish, this is realmente. We have realmente. Realmente. So if we have a sentence like, I'm sorry, but I really don't understand what you mean. The word order here will slightly change in Spanish. You will put the word really after but. So literally it would be, I'm sorry, but really I don't understand what you mean. It's just a slight change in structure that you have to be aware of. So how would you translate that now? Lo siento, pero realmente no entiendo lo que quieres decir. Well done on watching the lesson up to this point. I'd like you to keep watching now because we're going to go into a little twist that Spanish speakers do when it comes to expressing it means. We've already learned that quiere decir can stand for he wants to say, she wants to say, and it wants to say, which they use for he, she, or it means. However, what you'll typically find amongst native Spanish speakers is when they want to express it means. It's more common to say it signifies. And they have a verb for this, which is very close to what we know in English. The verb is significar. To conjugate this down into it signifies, the sound would be significa. Significa. For example, having in English, what does it mean? In Spanish, they would say, what does it signify? Now, this is used with it, specifically with it. So the translation would be, ¿qué significa? What does it signify? How would you say, now I know what it means? Ahora sé lo que significa. There's something to be careful of when using the word now. You can see in the two example sentences here we have now I know what it means and I know what it means now. In English, these are both understood in the same way, meaning the same thing. However, in Spanish, if you were to do this exact word order, putting now at the end, meaning sé lo que significa ahora. I know what it means now. This would sound very strange in Spanish, because to the ears of a native Spanish speaker, what you are expressing is that now you understand the meaning of the word now. This is why it's very important that when you want to throw in now, you put it at the front of the sentence and not at the end. It's just a little nuance to be aware of. How would you say, I don't know what it means? No sé lo que significa. Do you remember how to say, I understand? Entiendo. Now I understand what it means. Ahora entiendo lo que significa. What's the word for clear? Claro. And how would you say, it's very clear? Está muy claro. I don't understand what it means. It's not very clear. No entiendo lo que significa. No está muy claro. How would you say, it's not very clear what it means? No está muy claro lo que significa. Let's run a drill now. Remember to take your time, pause, and think things out, step by step. How would you ask, what does he mean? ¿Qué quiere decir? What does it mean? ¿Qué significa? I know what she means. Sé lo que quiere decir. I know what you mean. Sé lo que quieres decir. I don't know what it means. No sé lo que significa. Now I know what he means. It's very clear. Ahora sé lo que quiere decir. Está muy claro. It's not very clear what it means. No está muy claro lo que significa. It's not very clear what you mean. No está muy claro lo que quieres decir. Now I understand what you mean. Ahora entiendo lo que quieres decir. It's not clear what it means. No está claro lo que significa. I'm sorry, but I don't understand what you mean. Lo siento, pero no entiendo lo que quieres decir. I'm sorry, but I really don't understand what you mean. Lo siento, pero realmente no entiendo lo que quieres decir. I'm sorry, but I really don't understand what it means. Lo siento, pero realmente no entiendo lo que significa. If you're serious about learning Spanish and want to become conversationally fluent, my main course, Spanish with Paul, is live and available for you now. Inside you'll get my complete course, none of which is available on YouTube, and also my personal attention to make sure you achieve conversational fluency in the fastest time possible. In short, if you like my free lessons on YouTube and the results they're giving you, then you'll love what I have for you inside the main course. You can click the link on the screen now to find out all the details. So with that said, I look forward to seeing you again in my next video.